Donald Trump is having a rally in Reading, Pennsylvania tonight, and it's completely empty. There is a sea of empty seats in this venue while Donald Trump is speaking. And it really goes to show you that people all across this country, but especially in swing states, are sick and tired of hearing from Donald Trump. The lies, the conspiracies, the nonsense, the fictional characters like Hannibal Lecter. They are sick of it, and nobody's showing up to his rallies anymore. So I have some clips from this venue to show you. We'll talk about it a little bit, but let's just dive right in. So here's the first clip I want to play for you, and it was taken while Donald Trump was coming onto the stage to speak. And just take a look at all of these empty seats. It is humiliating. I mean, it's a sea. Look at all these seats. And, you know, the Trump supporters will claim that the seating's not available, except there are people sitting in them. So this is clearly seating that is open to people from the public to come in and sit in, and they're not. Nobody's showing up. This venue can only hold 7,000 people, and Donald Trump can't fill it. Look at all these empty seats. And even as you get to the bigger parts of the crowd here, you can still see that there are empty seats. And, of course, MAGA will come up with an excuse. They'll say that this is not during the rally, or maybe it's not when Donald Trump's speaking, so he came prepared. Here's a video of when Donald Trump was speaking, showing you the seats, showing that it didn't fill in just because Donald Trump started his speech. Take a look.
Inflation, she wouldn't do that over again either. Maybe the worst of all, and something that a lot of people don't hear about, because look at all the fake news. That's a lot of fake news.
I mean, just look at this. Look at this camera shot right here. If this doesn't represent Donald Trump's present day rallies, I don't know what will. This is what Donald Trump's rallies look like these days. And the funny thing about this is that during this speech, and of course in recent speeches, as I'm sure you folks have seen, Donald Trump has been claiming that nobody leaves his rallies and there's never an empty seat. Really? Really? Because we're looking at a lot of empty seats, right? It's a sea. It's a sea. Hundreds, maybe even 1,000 at least, empty seats in this venue. Probably 1,000 at least in this venue. And just for safe measure, here's one more final clip from a different angle, kind of showing you a different perspective of all these empty seats. And it is embarrassing. And again, there's actually still some empty seats in the main parts of the crowd that you can catch with your own eye. So just take a look.
That hired so many people. We had the best employment numbers in the history of our country. Everybody was working, whether they went to the best schools and colleges and got doctorates and all of the.
I mean, how utterly embarrassing for Donald Trump, who so often focuses on crowd sizes. I mean, look, right here even, you can kind of see a bigger part of the crowd. You can still see some empty seats. You can see some empty seats right in front of the journalist who's taking this video. And then, of course, when you pan to the back of the venue, a sea of it, a sea of it, a sea of empty seats. It is embarrassing, as I mentioned, for somebody who focuses so much on crowd sizes, spends so much time on his crowd sizes. This is the ultimate humiliation for Donald Trump. He's a narcissist. He's a lunatic. So this is the worst possible scenario for him, because these rallies are just really just stroking his ego at this point, right? He gets up there, he gets his crowds to cheer for him, whatever he says. He could say that the sky is yellow and grass is purple, and they'd clap along and they'd tell him that he's great. So these are just kind of like stroking his ego. But it's almost counterproductive when you're speaking to a half-empty venue. And it's also just, it's kind of like that awkwardness that you can feel in the air when Donald Trump is saying that he fills his rallies, but we can all see that his rallies are not filled. You can kind of feel that irony, I imagine, in the venue. Obviously these Trump supporters won't say that, but if you're a journalist, you probably will. And this just reminds me of some reporting that we got recently about this kind of general story surrounding Donald Trump, which is people leaving his rallies either early or just not showing up at all. And this was from the Washington Post, and they interviewed some people who left his rallies early and asked him why. And what they said was fascinating. In Las Vegas, where he recently had a rally, some attendees grew frustrated with Trump's tardiness and said they had trouble hearing him. A reporter standing by the door counted more than 200 people leaving in the first 20 minutes. 200 people in the first 20 minutes, not the last one, the first 20 minutes. One attendee said they still love Trump, which is insane, but said the former president would have said, "You're fired," if anyone else had been as late as he was. Anastasia Bennett, 22, quickly grew tired of the insults and was ready to leave. Bennett was undecided before attending the rally with her aunt, who supports Harris, but after hearing Trump speak, she said she planned to vote for Kamala Harris. She said, quote, "It was the insults and just being an hour late." So this is kind of like a little bit of a snapshot as to why people are tired of Donald Trump's rallies. They're not showing up anymore. And undecided voters are going to these rallies and then switching their vote or making a decision, and it's not in Donald Trump's favor. It's the insults, it's the rants, it's the conspiracy theories, it's the wasting of people's times. Like, Donald Trump will often show up to his rallies like 4 hours late and have these people either standing outside or standing in venues that sometimes don't have air conditioning. Like, he couldn't care less about his supporters, and people are taking notice. Even people who are maybe somewhat of Donald Trump supporters, well, certainly independents, certainly people who are undecided. But this kind of explains why a lot of people leave Donald Trump's rallies. And I think it's gotten so bad for Donald Trump. His rallies lack such substance that they're just not even showing up anymore. They're not even showing up so they can leave early. They're just not going. And this is a consistent theme that we're seeing for Trump's rallies all around the country. And as I mentioned, it's really, really humiliating when this is the case for somebody who focuses so often on crowd sizes. But you know who doesn't have this problem? Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris doesn't have this problem. People don't leave her rallies early. They fill the venues anytime that Kamala Harris has a rally. Anytime Tim Walz has a rally, they fill the venues. It's packed. People are having fun. They're dancing. They're making friends. And they're all fighting for democracy. That happens at Kamala Harris's rallies. And we know that bothers Donald Trump. I mean, he harped on it at the presidential debate. He still talks about Kamala Harris's rallies at these events that he has. But it's not even close. Like, people actually want to see Kamala Harris speak because she's a good speaker. She's really smart. Nobody wants to hear Donald Trump speak that's not a Trump supporter. If you're an independent voter, you're kind of in the middle, you're undecided, you're not going to a Trump rally. And people that do are either leaving early because they're like, my God, this guy is so crazy, or they're switching their votes. I hope that more people are doing the former, switching their votes and just, the latter, I should say, switching their votes and voting for Kamala Harris. But, we'll see. Anyway, I just wanted to show you this stuff. I will leave the video there. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you being here. Make sure to subscribe to the channel down below. It really helps. It goes an incredibly long way. I greatly appreciate it. And look, as I always say, I appreciate you, and I hope you have an amazing, 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 amazing rest of your day.